This is a study of historical recognition and diplomatic moves. A discussion of the WWI-era Armenian Genocide and how nations draw lines. Not to foster animosity between peoples, but to dissect the geometry of statecraft. We look at the lines, the structure, how the past is traded in the market of the present. Let the piano trace the design. In the Knesset halls, a draft is laid upon the table. A motion moves to write the word that Ankara calls a fable. Israel takes a step to sign the paper and decree the century-old tragedy is formal genocide. You see 1.5 million lives lost in the Ottoman collapse. For decades held in silence, mapped in diplomatic gaps. They call it recognition, a step that's long overdue. But you have to look at the timing and see the wider view. But the ledger has 2 columns and the ink is never dry. Every nation holds the history they choose to justify. Recognition shouldn't be a piece you move upon a board to settle modern arguments or brandish like a sword. It's the geometry of justice, keeping archers from the fall. If the truth is only leverage, it is no truth at all. I see the architecture of the moves they make today, the shifting lines of treaties and the games the empires play. For decades it was quiet, whispered under diplomatic breath, lest it anger old allies or disturb the sleep of death. But agreements start to fray, the pipelines start to shift, and suddenly an ancient grief becomes a modern gift. A bargaining chip of bone, a currency of dust. They build a legal archway out of iron, salt, and rust. It's the calculus of power, not a sudden moral light. They build a wall of memory to win a modern fight. My daughter is 12, I teach her how to measure and to build, to look at how a space is framed and how a room is filled. You do not build a foundation on a shifting compromise floor. You do not use a people's grief to settle someone else's score. The dead don't hear the speeches, they don't see the paper sign. They only know the silence of the things we leave behind. They call it diplomacy, the art of shifting weight, a calculated gesture at the table of the state. They use the name of genocide to check a rival's move, as if the pain of millions was at pieces they must prove. We honor those who fell by keeping memory clean of greed, not by pulling out the ledger only when there is a need. For a building isn't stable if the mortar is designed to serve the shifting interests of the borders in the mind. But the ledger has 2 columns and the ink is never dry. Every nation holds the history they choose to justify. Recognition shouldn't be a piece you move upon a board to settle modern arguments or brandish like a sword. It's the geometry of justice, keeping archers from the fall. If the truth is only leverage, it is no truth at all. Tragedy because it happened not to fit the play. Let the dead rest in the honor earned along the way. We build on shifting sand when we trade in what they lost. Calculate the weight, calculate the cost.